At Waterstone, we work exclusively with companies in technology sectors where change and disruption are constants. And these disruptions can quickly change the fortunes of companies and indeed entire industries. Think of Google and search-based advertising decimating the revenue streams of newspapers and other traditional media. Or Salesforce and software as a service upending the profitable license and maintenance models of legacy software providers. Our experience at Waterstone, working with technology industries, assisting both the disruptors and the disrupted, reveals that there are warning signs, red flags that indicate a vulnerability for incumbents and a likelihood of coming disruption. The first red flag is abnormally high margins. It's perhaps the biggest harbinger of disruption are outsized profit margins in a business. You can bet that competitors, particularly new competitors, who don't play by the traditional rules of your industry, are looking at those margins and figuring out how to attack. As an example, think of Gillette and the very profitable razor blade industry. In comes a subscription-based startup like Dollar Shave Club to start getting at those margins in a different way. Examine each major source of your company's profits and ask, could a competitor have a sustainable business model at half of our margins? As Jeff Bezos from Amazon famously quipped, your margin is my opportunity. The second red flag is stale technologies. Are your company's technologies up to date, or are you relying on assets that have been underinvested in, while newer technology choices emerge, which provide your customers with greater efficiency and effectiveness? Take the server industry. In the mid-1990s, the market for proprietary servers collapsed with the introduction by Microsoft and Intel of the x86 industry standard servers. Within a few years, the average sales price for proprietary servers had been cut in half. At Waterstone, over the past 10 years, we have seen wave after wave of technology industries shifting from being hardware-centric to software-centric, fueled by open source and other new technologies. Make sure you're taking a look at your company's technologies and the potential new choices that are emerging. The third red flag is underserved niche segments. This is the classic innovator's dilemma that Clayton Christensen studied and wrote about. Is there a set of customers in your industry with lower needs and profit margins that are largely ignored? If so, you are vulnerable to a challenger which figures out how to serve this segment's needs with a lower cost, less comprehensive offering, and then moves up the ladder to capture additional segments and additional turf. Salesforce, when they entered the CRM market, initially targeted the very low end of that market, but as we know, has moved up very successfully to become the dominant technology provider in sales and marketing. The next red flag is privileged access. Does your business rely on restricted access to product supply or customer demand through legal or regulatory means or other barriers? If so, be alert to new entrants which upend your paradigm by finding innovative ways to break down your barriers or greatly expand supply. Think of Uber and Lyft leveraging a peer-to-peer sharing model to greatly expand the supply of transportation vehicles. The fifth red flag is complexity. Operating in a complex ecosystem can be quite profitable until a challenger finds a way to pierce through the complexity. And then customers will choose simple over complex. The credit card industry is a great example of a complex ecosystem, and it's being successfully challenged by a host of new payment providers over the past 10 years, including PayPal and Square. The last red flag is fragmentation. Does your company compete in a highly fragmented industry with lots of small competitors? If so, you may be vulnerable to a consolidator, a competitor which can successfully harness economies of scale and provide a more effective and efficient solution for your customers. The retail industry is awash with examples, from yesterday's big box retailers crushing small operators to today's Amazon with their current over 40% market share of the e-commerce market. Disruption is a given in technology sectors, yet over and over we see companies which are surprised when disruption hits their businesses. Pay attention to the warning signs. Examining your business for these 6 red flags is critical for your company's profitability and perhaps survival. Now, once you identify a looming disruption, you will face a number of strategic choices, including a deliberate decision whether to ignore, fight, or embrace the disruption. But we'll save that topic for another day.